There's fresh controversy surrounding Princess Diana this lunchtime after newspaper reports linking her with Dodi Fayed, the son of the Harrods boss Mohammed Al Fayed. She's said to have joined the 40-year-old millionaire and a group of friends for a Mediterranean cruise last weekend. Once again, her judgments under scrutiny.
Fairy tales usually end at this point with the simple phrase, "They lived happily ever after."
The Princess of Wales was a new kind of royal. A new word began to appear in the media's vocabulary: die-mania.
The Princess of Wales has agreed to Prince Charles's request for a divorce.
In some small way, I have been of service in return.
Princess of Wales has died in a car accident.
At Buckingham Palace, telegrams of condolence have been arriving from leaders around the world.
Ragazzi, per cortesia. Per cortesia.
There were so many people that let go of her, that abandoned her, that let her go into the world. It wasn't a safe place for her. She was too important. She was too big a person to be let free. And having lived inside that safety of that gilded cage of a palace for so long, what happens to a beautiful peacock when you let it into the wild? It gets eaten by something. You see, she needed to be kept safe, and that's what she was looking for. She was looking for her Aristotle Onassis.
After the breakdown of her marriage to Prince Charles in 1996, Princess Diana sought solace and emotional fulfillment in her personal life. Having endured years of public scrutiny and private struggles, she was determined to find happiness on her own terms. In the summer of 1997, Diana's search for a new relationship led her to Dodi Fayed, the son of billionaire businessman Mohammed Al Fayed. Princess Diana first met Dodi Fayed in 1986 at a polo match in Windsor. At the time, Dodi's team was playing against Prince Charles's team. The encounter was brief, and at that point there was no indication that they would later form a romantic relationship. Diana was still married to Prince Charles, and Dodi was known primarily for his connections within elite circles, thanks to his father, Mohammed Al Fayed. Their paths crossed again over a decade later, when Diana accepted an invitation from Mohammed Al Fayed to vacation with his family on their yacht in the south of France.
You see, she always thought that she was as kind of Jackie Kennedy, that had lost her mainstay in life and still needed someone to take care of her and protect her and keep her safe. And in a way, Dodi Al Fayed was a kind of Aristotle Onassis. He was heir to a fortune, had an aeroplane and a boat, and was able to take the princess around the world in a safety corridor.
He was very nice to women. He wasn't a nasty person at all. He was a very sweet person, and he treated Diana like the princess she was. Nobody else had treated her like that.
And that's what thrilled her, in a way. That for once in her life, she'd found someone that could treat her in the way which she'd become accustomed, and the way that her lifestyle had always been.
I mean, with Hasnat Khan, she had to sort of hide him at the back of her car, and they had to, they mostly ate in, or if they went out, she was in disguise. But with Dodi, she could show herself off. So it was the first really free relationship she'd had since her marriage had broken down. It's the first time she could actually be out with someone, and she was having a ball.
She'd lived that relationship with Dodi Fayed in 40 days. It was 40 days from beginning to end. Now, you might think it was a year. Because it was played entirely on the world stage, you think it was longer. It was 40 days. From the moment she met him to the moment she died. And it was over.
There's fresh controversy surrounding Princess Diana this lunchtime after newspaper reports linking her with Dodi Fayed, the son of the Harrods boss Mohammed Al Fayed. She's said to have joined the 40-year-old millionaire and a group of friends for a Mediterranean cruise last weekend. Once again, her judgment's under scrutiny, a day before she leaves for a controversial trip to Bosnia to campaign against landmines.
I knew Dodi, and he was probably one of the most charming people you could ever meet. And he's also rather cool, had an American accent, beautifully dressed. With Dodi, she could show herself off. So it was the first really free relationship she'd had since her marriage had broken down.
Just weeks after her controversial holiday with the Al Fayed family, which was widely discussed in the tabloids, it's emerged that Princess Diana has enjoyed a second holiday, this time with Mohammed Al Fayed's son.
Dodi and Diana's relationship blossomed during a holiday in the Mediterranean. They spent time aboard his father's luxurious yacht, the Yonical, travelling around the French Riviera. For Diana, this trip represented more than a romantic holiday. It symbolised her desire to live life on her own terms, outside the constraints of the royal family and the spotlight that had often brought her pain. Dodi seemed to offer Diana a sense of freedom and spontaneity. Their romance quickly became the subject of media attention, with photographs of the couple sparking widespread interest and speculation.
I think she liked him very much. I don't know if she was in love with him, but she was in love with the idea of him, because she immediately saw with her power and Dodi's power through his father, they could do great things together. So he fitted in to her blueprint for her future.
Paul Burrell was constantly at Diana's side, one moment maintaining the distance of a man in service, the next joking with the boss.
I said to the princess, "When are you coming home?" "I'm coming home on Sunday, Paul. I'm just bored. I'm on this boat. It's freezing cold downstairs. It's boiling hot on deck. I'm sending these pictures out and nobody's coming back to me. I'm having no communication. I need to come home. But the only way home is on the Harrods jet. The only way I can get home is via Paris." Because Dodi has to go to Paris to do some business for his father. "How is he with you?" "Oh, he's very spoiling. He's very generous," the princess said. "He's given me a necklace, some earrings. He's given me a watch." I said, "You know what's coming next, don't you? He's going to give you a ring." "Do you think so?" "Oh, yes. He'll give you a ring. But remember, when he gives it to you, put it on the fourth finger of your right hand." "Yes, that's the thing to do. I'll do that. You always know what to do." "That's exactly what I'll do."
I spoke to the princess the day before and made all her plans for her return. Then she rang me from the hotel in Paris and said, "Oh, I'm going to be a little late."
They see me as a threat of some kind, and I'm here to do good. I'm not a destructive person.
Why do they see you as a threat?
I think every strong woman in history has had to walk down a similar path, and I think It's the strength that causes the confusion and the fear. Why is she strong? Where does she get it from? Where is she taking it? Where is she going to use it?
By 1997, Princess Diana was increasingly paranoid and anxious about her personal safety and privacy. Her high-profile divorce from Prince Charles in 1996 had left her feeling vulnerable, and she often expressed fears about being constantly watched or manipulated by forces beyond her control, including the British establishment and media. Diana believed she was under surveillance, fearing her phone calls were being monitored and her movements tracked. The relentless attention from the paparazzi also fueled her paranoia. She was constantly hounded by photographers who would chase her through the streets and invade her private moments, making her feel trapped and unable to escape the public eye. Diana took measures to avoid being followed, often switching cars, changing her plans last minute, and using decoy tactics to protect herself from the press. This constant pressure took an emotional toll on her. Her relationship with Dodi Fayed in the summer of 1997 may have been, in part, an attempt to escape from this suffocating atmosphere.
What confuses me, of course, is the fact that 10 months before that, the princess had written me a letter. And in that letter, she said, in her own handwriting, on her own stationery, her words were, "The next few months are the most difficult in my life. I fear that my husband is planning an accident in my car, head injuries, in order that he can remarry." Now, when you read those words, a prophecy the princess made 10 months before she died, it's rather eerie.
I hope you can find it in your hearts to understand and to give me the time and space that has been lacking in recent years.
She won't go quietly, that's the problem. I'll fight till the end, because I believe that I have a role to fulfill.
Saturday, the 30th of August, 1997. Diana and Dodi travelled to Paris and planned to stay overnight at the Ritz Hotel, owned by Dodi's father. Even though the princess was divorced from Prince Charles, she was still entitled to the same level of security as other members of the royal family. Diana chose not to take advantage of their security agents and was being looked after by members of the Al Fayed security team, led by Trevor Rees-Jones. The 30th of August 1997, 9:30 p.m. Dodi Al Fayed's plans to take the princess for a romantic meal are ruined as the couple are followed by paparazzi. The couple decided to retreat to a location the paparazzi could not penetrate, the Ritz Hotel. The couple decided to leave the Ritz and head to an apartment owned by Mohammed Al Fayed, a short distance from the hotel. – 12:20 a.m. Henri Paul, the deputy head of security at the Ritz Hotel, had been instructed to drive the hired Mercedes-Benz S280 to elude the paparazzi. A decoy vehicle left the Ritz from the main entrance. Diana and Dodi then departed from the hotel's rear entrance, heading for the apartment. Diana and Dodi were the rear passengers. Trevor Rees-Jones and Henry Paul occupied the front seats. At this point, the paparazzi had caught up with the Mercedes. Henry Paul drove faster to get away from the photographers. Just before Paul headed into the Alma tunnel, he swerved slightly to avoid a slower car, but grazed the vehicle. The car began to spin out of control.
Diana, Princess of Wales, has been seriously injured in a car accident in Paris.
French radio is saying that the accident happened in western Paris when the car she was travelling in collided with another vehicle in a tunnel. The princess is reported to have been taken to hospital. There is no news of her condition, and as yet the report is unconfirmed. It's also reported that a passenger in the princess's car was killed. One report, quoting French police, says it is her friend Dodi Fayed.
"12:23 a.m. At the speed of around 65 miles per hour, the car slammed into the 13th concrete column inside the Alma tunnel. As the victims lay in the wrecked car, the trailing paparazzi rushed to help, while others took pictures. Fayed had been sitting in the left rear seat and appeared to be dead. Fire officers were still trying to resurrect him when he was pronounced dead by a doctor at 1:32 a.m. Henry Paul was declared dead on removal from the wreckage. Still conscious, Trevor Rees-Jones had suffered multiple serious facial injuries. "12:30 a.m. The first police patrol arrived on the scene. "1 a.m. Diana was removed from the car. She then went into cardiac arrest. Following external cardiopulmonary resuscitation, her heart started beating again.
First, we'd heard the princess had had head injuries and broken her arm. And then at 2 o'clock in the morning, we heard that the injuries were more serious than they first thought. And it wasn't until about 3 o'clock that they told us that the accident had been fatal. And during this time, my thoughts were, I must get to Paris, because if she's incapacitated in any way, she'll need me to support her, to take care of her, to keep her safe. And when I heard that the accident was fatal, I thought there's even more reason for me to be there. I do need to keep her safe. I need to protect her. I need to look after her. So early Sunday morning, I arrived in Paris and was taken straight by the British ambassador, taken to the hospital.
1:18 a.m. She was moved to the ambulance, left the scene at 1:41 a.m. and arrived at the hospital at 2:06 a.m. (4 a.m. Princess Diana was pronounced dead, aged 36.
I approached the bed. It was a hospital bed, and the princess was covered in a white sheet. Her head and her feet were visible, and her hands were on top of the sheet. And I approached the bed, and I stared for a while in disbelief, and I watched the fan whirring on the side of the bed table. A fan was moving on the bedside table, and as it moved the princess's hair, and I could see her eyelashes moving. And I took her hand and said, "Wake up. You're asleep, aren't you? Wake up." And nothing happened. She was soft and warm. Not dead at all. It was quite a while before I realized that she was actually not with us, and remembered what she told me about death. She said, at that moment when you pass, your spirit lifts from the body, and you hang around for a while and watch. So I said, "You're here, aren't you? You're here. You're watching me. You're watching what I'm doing. And I'll try and do it the way you'd want me to do it." So I stayed with her.
The death of Diana marked a significant moment in history. It was more than the passing of a beloved public figure. It symbolized a shift in how the world viewed royalty and celebrity.
A girl given the name of the ancient goddess of hunting was, in the end, the most hunted person of the modern age.
From that point on, the boundaries between the public and private lives of those in the spotlight would be scrutinized more closely, altering the course of media and public perception.